Game 5 saw the Raptors do the expected and the unexpected. The expected was that the 76ers would pay for having Embiid Thybulle on the court during their offensive possessions. The unexpected was that they would pay for having Joel Embiid on the court for their defensive ones. I'll break down how this happened and why, but before we get into it, make sure to like and subscribe. I'm told it helps. So let's start with Thybulle. Quite frankly, the 76ers couldn't get around his offensive ineptitude and his limitations in Game 5. They repeatedly marched him into the corner, and the Raptors proceeded to pay him no mind. Possession after possession, this allowed them to load up on Embiid, this allowed them to load up on Harden, and then Maxey as well. Raptors fans know full well what it's like to watch a player who is limited by his team's spacing. They watched Siakam march his way to an all-NBA season while navigating the very same constraints. But in the pressure cooker of the playoffs, the Raptors being able to leave Thybulle and send an extra body at the 76ers stars is hurting them a lot. Things compound in basketball. Hitting tough shots can affect the defense and move them out of effective schemes. On offense, the 76ers found good process, but Thybulle's presence directly created bad results many times. He's in the strong side corner on this Harden drive, and Boucher leaves him with no regard and blocks Harden. And again, Boucher leaves Thybulle in the corner, and Harden decides to pass out, and that's an air ball. And watch him just pass up a wide open three, turn the ball over, and hang his head. His decision-making fell apart. He missed shots when he pinched into 14 feet. He got gifted free throws on an incredible and clean block on Precious Achiuwa and missed both of them. In fact, his only made shot was this.
Joel gets it back.
Good look.
Thybulle from the corner. And Achiuwa knocks it in.
That's right. He didn't make his only made shot. The 76ers offense was 4 points per 100 possessions worse with him on the floor during the regular season. But for several reasons, including the Raptors' play style, I don't think he can close the gap the same way he does in the playoffs as he did during the regular season. The Raptors are a low assist, low turnover team that consistently bullies smaller wings and smaller guards in mismatches. Thybulle fits that description. His ball hawking type of defense doesn't really play against the Raptors when they're seeing him as a mismatch at times, but also not really throwing the types of passes that he likes to pick off and to hunt so that he can supercharge offense. It's a tough deal for him. In short, the Raptors have mitigated his defensive output and preyed on his offensive limitations. It's been a nightmare matchup for him. Not to mention that he can't even cross the border because of vaccination status. Okay, so on to Embiid. I'll let terrific NBA-wide and 76ers analyst Jackson Frank describe exactly why it was so unique that the Raptors were able to take advantage of Embiid for a 6-possession stretch.
I can't remember the last time I saw. I mean, the Raptors were, for the lack of a maybe more nuanced, they were hunting him, and I can't remember the last time I saw anyone like ever hunt Joel Embiid like that.
The first reason why this started happening, the emergence of Precious Achiuwa's offensive game. This isn't particularly new. You can watch the breakdown I did of Precious's offense on this very channel, but he's bullying Embiid in space. And he did so by being quicker on the pull and showing off a few really nice finishes. If you turn a guy around on defense, they're doing a really bad job of keeping up with you. And Embiid has been beaten by Achiuwa so many times, he started seeing the ghosts of those other drives. Secondly, they started putting him in all of their actions above the break. OG puts him in a simple screen and rescreen action, and there's a dunk. Achiuwa just brought the ball up the floor and blew by him. Similar to OG, Siakam gets a brush screen and rockets to the rim. It was clever to use GTJ as a roaming screener because the 76ers absolutely didn't want Maxey to defend either of Siakam or OG. Then it's just more Precious, holding that pivot down, stepping around Embiid for the finish. That's tough, man. And then he mirrors Siakam's drive perfectly and gets the finish at the bucket. Shortly after this, the 76ers went to a zone to protect Embiid from those isolations, from those involvements in those actions, and to protect him from foul trouble. This is where the two sides of the court are married. The Raptors have been putting Embiid through so much physicality, so much attention on offense that he's now being negatively affected, gassed, tired, hard to keep up on defense. For the Thybulles stuff, we'll see if we get to game 7 and see how it pops up there. For the Embiid stuff, we'll see in game 6. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see ya.